Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our podcast, Your Gardening Questions from Plant Talk Radio. If you have a gardening question you'd like our host Fred Howard to answer, send him an email. The email address is fred@planttalkradio.com. Now for today's question.
It's just wild this spring with, I'm going to say above or anti-average situations. We'll live with it like we always do, but it's been kind of crazy so far.
It certainly has. And one of the things I do, even June can be crazy. You know, you plant at the normal time, and you're mentioning a couple weeks behind.
Yep. And
I'll often protect my warm season plants, even if I plant them once the soil warms, because nights can be so cool.
Uh-huh.
And, those 40-degree nights can really wreak havoc on tomatoes and peppers and stunt them and delay your harvest. And just a little covering with a floating row cover, something that lets air, light, and water through but traps the heat, protects those plants right after planting, is a great way to give them that little nudge so you get the harvest on time or maybe even earlier.
Well, and that was what I was going to say. One of my favorite tomato growers does a fantastic job, and he always chides his neighbors when they're planting, in his opinion, too early. He said, I'll wait. I'll keep my stock, under heavy light or high light, and I'll plant them 3 weeks after you do, and I'll still beat you to the ripe tomatoes. And he is right, because they put them in cold soil, cold winter, or, well, not winter, but cold nights and so on. And his plants go in when they're warm enough to be able to do their thing, and he just beats them silly, and they just won't listen to him, according to him, and get in line with doing it right. So he says, I'll just have to show them the flavor of my tomatoes until theirs come along.
Exactly.
Well, no, this is one of those tricks, and row covers are something that farmers, of course, are doing all the time. Our clientele, so to speak, has not really, I don't think they've really caught on to row cover, the light floating type of thing. I still recommend, when I can't get that thought across to them, I still recommend old bed sheets from a box in the garage type of thing. Just put a stick in the ground and drape it over. Any way to keep that plant from chilling. And then even if it does freeze, I find it only freezes maybe an inch in under the sheet or towel or whatever it is. And they can do a little bit of, removal of the black tissue, and the plants will come along. But if they stand there naked, they're going to get hurt.
You bet. And the reason I like row covers is, again, I'm kind of lazy, so I can put them out and leave them on day and night. And even up here, I've been doing row covers for the 30-some years. I've lived in Wisconsin, and there's still people that it's a new idea. And, but you're right. Any protection is going to give that plant that boost. And one of the other things I like to do with the floating row covers is I use them on my cabbage plants. So when I plant my cabbage, I cover them with one of the lighter weight materials, and it keeps the cabbage worms from laying their eggs on the cabbages and broccoli. And then I don't have to worry about picking off unwanted protein or using BT, right? I'm okay with it. My guests, not so much. But and it's a fun way to keep the insects off. And one of the other benefits we found, we were shooting a Melinda's Garden moment. We were demonstrating use the cabbage, and we shot this at Dawn's house. One of my colleagues, one of my team members, sent a picture of the rabbit sitting on the row cover, longingly looking at the cabbage. It was great. So.
Every once in a while, you get a chance for a shot like that.
Exactly. Double benefit.
Hey, thanks again for listening to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our other podcasts as well, the Plant of the Week podcast and the Plant Talk Radio podcast, all on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. If you'd like to sponsor a daily podcast, contact us at fred@planttalkradio.com. To find out more about Fred Howard and Plant Talk Radio, visit our website, planttalkradio.com.
Circle270media.com